Okay, you're all set.
Very good, thank you. Tonight's meeting is being convened in compliance with Governor Cuomo's executive orders, which suspend certain provisions of the open meetings law to allow municipal boards to convene meetings via video conferencing without in-person attendance by the public. The public has been provided with the ability to view, hear, and participate in the meeting, and a transcript of the meeting will be provided at a later date. The link to the live stream of the meeting has been provided to the public, and a video of the meeting will be made available on public access television, as well as a link on the town's website. Further, all submission materials and agendas are available to be viewed on the town's website. I've determined there's a quorum of board members present for the meeting, so we'll call the meeting to order and move on to our first item, which I believe is the public hearing for the East of Hudson project on Court Mill. So this is a public hearing. That's our first swing at a public hearing. So we need a motion to open the public hearing. Do we have that motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So again, this is the Court Mill Road Channel Stabilization Project, New York City DEP property 24 and 40 Court Mill Road. So Kevin, I guess you're on.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kirkwood. So to follow up from our last meeting with the planning board, we addressed first what I would call the softening of the contours to make it more reality versus plan proposal. I asked my engineers to address that, and we conducted a tree survey independently. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a landscape plan provided to everybody prior to this meeting. It came in just a little bit after the deadline for everything. But I do have a landscaping plan that I could share should the board ask for it this evening on screen. But the largest issue that, to my recollection and knowledge, that was before everybody, was the submittal of the tree permit, which we did send in. I did get a chance to speak with Dennis Corelli at the end of last week to discuss the site, what we think we could accomplish, what I felt as though were trees that needed to be removed. To my knowledge, Sabrina Charney-Hall has provided a document to the board addressing those comments that I provided to Dennis and to the board. And as it stands for the tree permit, we believe we have about 49 trees that are above 6 inches, and 36 of which we believe are conservatively in fair or better condition. Now, the landscaping plan that's been provided to me by my engineer that would meet New York City DEP standards calls for installing 42 trees and 172 shrubs, in addition to allowing natural vegetation to take over on site. We want to make sure that we certainly do allow anything that possible to take shape here, but still allow the maintenance access for the town and satisfy New York City DEP's requirements. So I feel as though we've met the requirements of the permit, but obviously are open to comments and questions from the board.
Okay. Sabrina, did you have some comments you want to run through also at this point?
Yes, I actually just wanted to inform the board that in, I want to say 2017 or 2019, Supervisor Rob Greenstein agreed or signed signed on behalf of the town the authorization for the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation to be lead agency on all stormwater retrofit projects. With that document and conversations with Jen Gray Council, it was determined that the planning board does not need to take any further action in accordance with the State Environmental Quality Review Act. So you guys can act under the lead agency direction of the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation that this is a type 2 action and no further environmental review is required.
Okay, thank you.
That is the only comment that I had for you. I provided you a description of the action so that it would be clearer to you in your determination and your decision making. And I think it's really up to Dennis, who had the most comments at our last discussion, as to whether or not he is satisfied and this project can move forward. If there's anyone in the public to comment, and then it's a determination by your board as to a decision.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Is Dennis with us tonight? I'm hampered here. I'm sorry.
He is with us.
Okay. Dennis, perhaps you can help us a bit here and give us some of your comments with regard to the tree permit and the softening that Kevin alluded to before.
Sure. I mean, it's funny coming from a place of, and I discussed this with Kevin, there had to be like a consideration, obviously, of purpose and need with respect to the project. So understanding that, the goal here is, to phrase it sort of as a greater good in terms of obviously concerns over water quality. So in the absence of just being able to, just see what the plan would be, that would be acceptable to DEP. I'm sure it's similar to a lot of what I had in my prior experience when we did a lot of these types of DEP projects, more reservoir related, but there were times where roads had to be improved. There were even some clearing projects on DEP's part because they wanted to improve water quality to promote undergrowth. There was almost too much forest cover, and they were having a problem with actually vegetating the understory. So I'm just providing that as a backdrop because that's more my lens for this, as opposed to kind of doing the hard numerics and worrying about replacing every tree and the how it ties into the overall system. So in reviewing what I reviewed, obviously I didn't produce a memo. As Kevin said, he and I just had a discussion. And, honestly, when I get get a copy of the sort of the revegetation or landscape plan, I was, going to go out with that in conjunction with the drawings for the tree removal and just, kind of do like a cross assessment and, make a better determination. Because to be fair to Kevin, I know that this got put together fairly late and, so some of the species being unknown, there could be opportunity here where, some of what they're removing, not just condition, but even species, may not be something that, we would necessarily prefer and what they're looking to replant, but actually, it would be almost like a 2-for-1. You have a water quality project in conjunction with, this is a good species for this area because, so it's sort of an incomplete answer, but I'm certainly not, averse to anything that I've reviewed to this point or the discussions that I've had with Kevin thus far.
Very good. Have you had a chance to review the trees that have been designated for removal, and are you satisfied with those? I don't know if you had a chance to look at all of it yet, but if not, I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, that I admit that I have not done because this had just come last week, so I admit I didn't have an opportunity.
Okay. So I don't think we can take action on obviously the permits at this point. You have to push that over. We need to get that. The tree permit has a two-step to it, and that is the removal, but also the replacement and the landscape plan, which I think is important to this because, to your point, Dennis, filling it up with vegetation is also going to be could have an adverse impact. By the same token, if we don't have appropriate vegetation, this would also be as much as it will help water quality, it will also be a visual nightmare for neighbors. These things tend to look pretty crummy unless they're really treated properly. And I have confidence that between you and Kevin that this will turn out fine.
Do we have a maintenance plan for the shrubs and everything?
Yeah, we need to see that as well, right? Exactly, Dick. So, I mean, I think that from my standpoint, the tree and the tree replacement, the shrub replacement, the species, and making sure that we're not removing too many trees for the roadway, understanding that we want to facilitate and as quickly as possible, the treatment of the water. But I think you hit it right on target. We have to be careful about maintenance and what this is going to look like, and Dennis's comments on species and how much and where, and looking at this landscaping plan. So,
Right, but at this point, you can take action on the steep slope permit and the stormwater quality permit. Am I wrong?
well, we usually, I'll tell you, actually, I suppose we could, but what we normally do is we look at these all together. Because if we're going to make some changes with regard to the trees, and I think the vegetation, I think Tom raised the comment last time, vegetation on some of these steep slopes is actually important because it helps, in addition to the rock that we put in, it's also something that helps bind the area to avoid what we have now. So I don't know if Bob has got any comments on the stormwater. Steep slopes, again, we understand that you have softened it, but again, until we hear back from Dennis and Bob in terms of what that means, I will probably put it over.
Yeah, I had no comments on the stormwater. I looked at this quite extensively when they first submitted it, so I have really no comments right now.
Good. Well, I mean, but as far as you're concerned, it looks fine, doesn't it? I mean, as far as we've looked at it in
Yes.
the information, yeah.
Yes, I have no objection with the plans. They're good and complete to my satisfaction, and I have no further comment.
Good. Okay. Great. Tom, did you have any thoughts or comments before we ask to see if there's any public comment?
The one comment that I would bring up is it possible for the board to give us preliminary approval of the permit pending Dennis and Robert's review of everything so that we can expedite this. This is an opportunity for the corporation to get funding from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers that we may miss out on if we don't move forward with this.
What's the timing on it, Kevin? What's your time frame, and what are you up against in terms of deadlines?
Army Corps gave us a September 1st deadline, which means there's a lot of red tape for me to get through to get to this funding. So as it is, I'm a little concerned with the timeline. I'd really like to get this in to Army Corps and submit the entire application. This is a substantial grant that we might be able to get from these folks. Otherwise, we're delayed, and this project, without a doubt, would be put on the shelf until we
Right.
get
So
funding.
if I may make a suggestion, right? Because, we have a public hearing tonight. We have to hear whether or not there's any public comments. Perhaps the board could request that a draft resolution be prepared for your next meeting, at which time, Kevin, you can make sure that the landscape plan and any maintenance requirements are circulated to everybody. And so that at your first meeting in July, we could potentially come to resolution provided the board is satisfied with the documents that you have circulated, or we can amend those documents at that meeting and then follow suit with the resolution so we could try and finish you up by then.
That sounds good. I don't think we're far
Board
off
is
by any
amenable to that.
means. We just,
Yeah.
I understand that everybody's got to put their eyes on it and be comfortable with what's being proposed.
Absolutely.
But that also includes the New York City DEP that, it's funny because the town's getting a permit from the DEP, who's asking for a permit from the town, who's asking for a permit from East of Hudson, who's getting a permit from the town to authorize the DEP to fix a problem.
Right, and this project, just to give the planning board the background, we requested this project to be undertaken. It is of great benefit to the town's obligations under the stormwater retrofit program. So, we will be benefiting by having this project implemented. And just leave you with that, we have had difficulty with location of projects in our municipality due to the cost. So the Army Corps' funding in this particular project is key for us to have the project performed in the municipality and to fix a problem that the town would otherwise have to shoulder itself.
Right. So, okay. Anyone else, any comments? Tom, any comments, thoughts?
Well, no, I was going to say that I think that some real progress has been made since our last meeting on this, and I thank Kevin for that, and with the help of clearly the help of Dennis. And so I think that just prudence says that we need to be sure that the key things that we are, obligated to be concerned about get addressed. But I also am very mindful of the time crunch that is in front of the applicant. So I endorse the idea of just getting this through us as quickly as possible. And that might mean that Kevin and Dennis need to put in some extra hours or do whatever they need to do to be sure the next time we see it that we have something which is close enough so that we can approve it with conditions that may need to be imposed. But to do it, with that objective in mind, I think would be the right thing to do here. If we can, get through the necessary public reviews as we, get to the finish line.
Yep, good. Good. I just for the record, I guess our next meeting is the July 6th. So, and again, we'll see. We'll take comments from the public if we see any comments, but I think Sabrina's suggestion makes good sense to me as well, and I endorse that as well. Terry, do we have any comments? Anyone from the public watching? Anyone with a hand raised? Anyone wishing to make a comment or question?
Right now, there's an attendee, but they don't have their hand raised. If they have a question, please raise your digital hand. Nothing at this time. No.
Okay.
I have a question. Bob Celia, how much steep slope do we have in this? Is there a need for a steep slope permit?
Yes, we did an analysis on it, and they both needed planning board approval for the steep slopes, yes.
Okay, and are there any very steep areas on that, or is it just moderately steep?
It was a combination of all three, but there were some excessively steep slopes as well.
Okay.
Okay.
To that point, Mr.
That, permit, I don't know if that helps Kevin with this paperwork, if we just approve that one piece.
I appreciate the question. What it's going to end up being is if Army Corps of Engineers feels as though we have not satisfied all permits
Okay.
together in a group, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, listen, if we are heading towards a decision on July 6th, I think we're better suited to do everything together as we usually do. We're one meeting away ostensibly.
Right, exactly. So let's see if there is a motion then to direct staff to prepare a resolution in anticipation of the approval.
Motion.
Okay, second. Hi, Kanan.
Aye.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? Okay, so we're all set on that. So Kevin, what we'll do is if you, as we've spoken, if you and Dennis can get together and get these documents to us as well, let's get this moving forward and see if we can't put it to rest and get you approved on July 6th.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right,
Okay.
have a good night, Kevin.
And Chairman, just for the record, to be clear, you're adjourning that you're keeping the public hearing open until July, your
Correct.
next meeting in July.
Yes, thank you. Do we have to, we don't have to do anything, do we? Just note
No,
it?
just wanted to make sure that's clear for the record.
Yeah, okay, very good. Thank you.
All right, Kevin, and so if you and Dennis could work diligently to refine anything that needs to be refined so that we could work to cite the proper documents in the resolution, that would be appreciated.
Right. Yeah, Dennis will hear from me
Yes.
tomorrow morning.
And I guess, Jennifer, do we have all the easements set up and marked up and set for recording? So that's something else that has to be, set forth as well.
Yeah, I have not received any easements.
Okay,
That's right. We're still working through the red tape of New York City, unfortunately, for the whether or not it's going to be a land use permit versus expanding the easement. But I will make sure that the DEP has an official answer on that prior to the July meeting. And I'll make sure that Jennifer's
Okay, if you
involved in
can.
that conversation.
Kevin, if you can, otherwise we were going to defer that to the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation to handle that, and we will put verbiage in our resolution to satisfy that.
Yeah.
You know,
I like that.
I would hate to make, while I would love to think that you have that authority to get the DEP to respond, let's not promise that.
I will
That would be
do my
amazing.
best. I will do my best to get an answer.
Yeah, but we have an alternative way to deal with it in the resolution if you do not have a response by the next meeting. So
Wonderful.
no need to
Terrific.
work miracles.
Save it.
The
Other
DEP
time.
deserves a little bit of pushback every now and then, just to be perfectly clear.
yes,
All right.
we understand.
We need to have this project happen, folks.
Yep,
What's the
okay.
cost of the project? What is the town saving on this project, Kevin?
Until the quote officially comes in, it's not quite clear, but I believe it to be above $500,000
Whoa,
for the whole thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we touched closer to 750.
Wow. That pays for us
Yeah.
for like
Real
400
benefit
years.
to the community, folks.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm glad.
Not only from a funding standpoint, but from a phosphorus reduction credit.
Yep,
Okay,
terrific.
which in the end will also be a cost savings for the taxpayers of the town.
Well, I'm glad I'm earning my keep around here.
Yeah, that's really going out though on a stretch there. I don't know. Anyway, terrific, Kevin.
Okay.
So we'll see you on July 6th.
Excellent. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Okay, our next item is a request for an extension of time. This is the Chappaqua Central School District. This is the application for a preliminary subdivision plat, steep slopes permits, tree removal permit, and stormwater pollution prevention plan. The approval was at Button Hook Road and Sabina Road. So it's a request for an extension. We received a letter correspondence from the applicant outlining and detailing the work that they're in the midst of. They attached a copy from our friends from New York City DEP. Obviously they have some work to do now in terms of responding to those comments. So it appears that they're moving forward. Bob, Sabrina,
Yeah,
Dennis? anything to the
Chairman,
contrary?
I think the applicant's representative is in the attendees section of
Oh,
the
okay.
meeting, Dan Patrick. So Pam, I don't know if you want to
Oh,
move Dan
sure.
over.
I can bring him over.
Thank
I'm
you.
assuming he's here for this one and
Bring
not
him
for
over.
our local law referral.
He should be over here now and he can unmute himself.
Okay.
Yep, there he is.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. For
Good
the
evening.
record, Daniel Patrick from Cuddy and Fader. So yeah, I think you really summarized it very well. We were not anticipating such extensive comments from DEP, but we received the attached comments or the submitted comments to this board, and we are working diligently to address them, but there's 11 pages of them and it's going to take some more time. So we're requesting that we be granted an additional extension to continue working through those comments.
Okay. Any questions, issues, problems from board members? Any comments, Sabrina, Dennis, or Bob? You're okay with what we've seen before us?
Been working with their engineer regarding the water, Michael Campbell. So they're making good progress on the water. I guess they want to get submittal to the county. I have to give them some approval letters as well. So we've been working with Michael on that part and I. So they are making their diligent progress. And the next big hurdle, like the attorney so articulately said, is they have 8 or 9 pages of comments from the DEP.
Right. Okay. Very good. Is there a motion then to grant the extension that the applicant has sought?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? No, motion's carried. So the extensions have been granted and we'll move on from there. Good luck with the
Thank
DEP.
you. Thank you very much. And the extension, was it the requested 90-day? And any conditions or I just want to make sure I relay the
There are no
information
conditions
correctly.
that we ever impose. What do we have on this one, Felicia?
I'm sorry, what are
The
you asking?
extension's till September 1, 21, I guess, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Yep, so it's, 90 days?
Thank you very much.
Okay, good luck on that. We'll
Thank
probably
you.
see you soon.
I think so.
Yep, okay, very good. Thank you. Our next item is a referral from the town board. This is a local law referral. This is regarding the moratorium. Proposed local law extending the moratorium imposed by local law 13 of 2018 for 6 months for the Chappaqua business hamlet. My understanding is that the moratorium is would be granted or extended, excuse me, for the North Greeley area, the current study area for the form-based code, and from what, the corner of King, or virtually the corner of King, up to Bishop. In fact,
Mr. Chairman, it's not the current study area of the code. The study area of the environmental review is the original
right,
hamlet. The proposed new area for the legislation is the North Greeley area as represented in the map attached to the moratorium.
right. Thank you. Yep. So what does that mean? Does that mean that the moratorium regarding the rest of the study area now lapses or has lapsed as of, what was it,
That
June 1?
was, yeah, that
Correct.
was my exact question. Exactly.
Correct.
Okay. So it's a limited extension of the moratorium then.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions, comments from folks on this?
But what happens if we get someone comes in and has a great idea during the moratorium, on North Greeley? What do they have to do? Wait?
Hold on to that great idea for
an
6 months.
exemption or
Yeah.
what?
No, there's relief available within the moratorium, so there's an opportunity to apply to the town board for essentially a variance from the moratorium.
Okay, so that would be included in the whole thing, or we have to?
Yeah, it's in there now.
That's in there.
Well, the town board may be asking for a 6-month extension, but there's no, is there any, are they actually committed to a minimum of 6 months, or can they can sunset this anytime they want? Is that right?
Correct.
Yep,
Right.
that's correct.
Right. Okay.
So I take it our position is that we support the moratorium that the town board's proposing?
I do.
Okay,
Okay.
good. So Sabrina, should we, and Jennifer, should we send a memo on this?
Yes,
I mean,
there
a
will
brief
be a
memo?
memo response in support of, if that is the direction of the board.
Okay, I think that's the direction. So is there a motion then to direct staff to drop that memo for us, and we'll send that off to town board?
So move.
Second,
And who will review it, or do we wait for another meeting?
We can't wait. I would recommend not waiting for another meeting because the town board is holding the public hearing on this moratorium next week. I'd like to request that the chairman review the memo.
Good idea.
yeah, it'll be a very short, simple, sentence.
Yes, the planning board supports.
This is one that we can do in
Also do
less
that.
than 9 months.
Yeah, less than 3 sentences, okay? Bob is having trouble with his computers and everything like that, so no one overtax him.
Right, exactly.
But I
We'll
think
get
we
it to you
did
tomorrow.
a similar one, right? We already,
Yes,
yeah, we did one. I mean, I think after I joined, so
yes.
Oh, yeah, yes.
exactly, yeah.
It was first approved in 2018, so we've had several 6-month extensions.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Are all in favor of that motion?
All right.
Who seconded the motion?
I
You need a
thought it was-
motion? So
I thought it was
moved.
Dick.
Thank you, Dick.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, if not, the motion's all set. It's approved, and we'll get that memo out right away then to the town board. Thank you very much. I guess that's it. Our agenda is short. What's it looking like for July, Sabrina? I mean,
We have
Sometimes I get
several
scared when I
returning.
see a short memo like this, and it's like, okay, when's the other shoe falling?
We actually have, I think, roughly 4 applications for the next meeting, they are return applications, resubmittals. 3 or 4,
Okay,
We have 3 right now.
3.
okay,
Mm.
And then the
July.
East of Hudson will be the 4th.
right. Okay, terrific.
Sabrina,
I
this is
want to,
July
I want to note that, with this, 30-minute meeting we had, that it puts it in the top 10 for the shortest meetings.
So noted.
I have a question. It's July, if July 6th is the next meeting,
Correct.
I'm not in town. I will try to join, but it's the weekend. My sister's getting married just after her wedding, so I may not be able to join on the 6th.
Congratulations to her and your whole family.
Thank you. Thank you
And
so much.
pending the outcome of whether or not the governor renews the remote meeting, we may be in person.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
So can I,
I have to wear shoes or something like that?
can I request that we get a readout on the status of the look at the distribution center in Mount Pleasant for our next meeting? Put it on the agenda.
Sure, we can put that on. I don't know if we'll have it, but I'll follow up again with Clinton and see what's going on. Yep.
Yeah, it's, I guess I don't understand why it takes, 6 weeks now, more to get.
I
a-
will follow
Did
through
you
with
traffic?
Clinton and see
Yeah.
where he is with that.
Yeah, I think it's a traffic study we're looking for. I mean, it's a public document, so.
Yeah, the last night when I spoke to him a couple weeks ago, he said he thought he was going to have to foil it with the town of Mount Pleasant, and I don't know if he started that process, and I don't know how long the process will be,
Okay,
but I know that that seemed to be the next step.
thank you.
All righty. Okay, is there a motion then to close the meeting?
Move.
Okay, second.
Second,
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, very
Aye.
good. Thanks so much, guys.
Have a good